Here is a question to start our day. Can the European Union become a global leader in clean technology while at the same time keeping its industry competitive in an increasingly challenging world? That's the big question behind the Clean Industrial Deal, which is the bold new plan which is launched by the EU just a few days ago. Today, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to break it down what this deal is all about, why it matters, and what it means for Europe's future. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to unpack
February 26th, the European Commission launched the Clean Industrial Deal, a strategy to transform decarbonization and circularity into growth drivers for Europe. With 37% lower emissions than 1990 levels and GDP up 68%, Europe is proving decarbonization fosters economic prosperity. The deal focuses on key pillars. First, supporting energy-intensive industries like steel and chemicals in decarbonizing and boosting competitiveness. Second, expanding the clean tech sector, promoting circularity to reduce waste and dependence on external raw materials. Third, mobilizing over 100 billion euros to finance clean manufacturing, boost innovation, and support the green transition. Fourth, strengthening skills for green workforce and ensuring affordable energy for industries and households. Lastly, the Industrial Decarbonization Accelerator Act will boost demand for sustainable EU-made products. With this strategy, the EU is shaping a sustainable, competitive future, economically, environmentally, and socially. To stay ahead in the green economy and learn how the Clean Industrial Deal will shape Europe's industrial future, tune in to our full podcast.
Hello, guys. So I've just given you a little clip about what the Clean Industrial Deal is all about. Yeah. So my name is Tony T. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. What we do, we raise awareness about renewables energy and sustainability. So if you are interested to break or expand into Africa, we are your eco-break to this market, and we can help you with visibility, leads, but also deals. But if you're looking to decarbonize, we gain your eco-break to sustainable pathway, and we can surely help your carbon footprint assessment, carbon reduction strategy. So reach out to us. I'll be more than happy to talk to you and give you a little bit more details. Now, you've seen about the Clean Industrial Deal, and I want to give you a lot more information about that, right? So first of all, the Clean Industrial Deal. So you've seen that, but let me just break it down again for you. So this is the EU response to two major challenges that they've been facing. Number one, which is the global competition that we see between US, China, and also the EU, who doesn't want to fall behind, and also climate change. This is actually what we see. And with rising energy costs and fierce competitions, like I say, with the blocks, China and US, so there is an urgent need to decarbonize, and European industries are at the crossroad, we could say that. So what the deal is aiming to do, it's to turn decarbonization into an opportunity for growth, and making sure that the Europe industry not only survive but actually will thrive in a green economy. Now, you probably want to be asking the question for you. So, why does all of this matter? So, why do we need to pay attention to that or care about that? First of all, with global economy, so when a big block like that is taking such a decision, we do need to pay attention. Yeah, we need to. It's very important because one way or another we may be impacted. But let's be honest as well, the stakes are particularly high because industry like steel, chemicals, metals, they are the backbone of Europe economy, but they are also some of the hardest to decarbonize. So how many times have I engaged with people and say, hey, we're interested by renewable, but let's face it, it's difficult for us to count on renewables to get the power that we need. And hence we need to stay with fossil fuel, right? So that's why if we don't tackle some of those toughest questions, it'll be difficult for us to move forward, right? So that's why when the EU is actually taking such a plan, it's important for us to look at how are they intending to tackle this question for us to know. So the Green Industrial Deal, it's at the same time the way the clean tech sector is booming globally, right? Because it's booming globally, the clean tech sector, and Europe wants to make sure that they stay at the forefront of this revolution, right? And no, obviously in the US, the Trump administration decided to go another way. But guess what? Like I said to always people, the US is a fantastic economy, fantastic place, but the US is not the world. The rest of the world is actually moving forward. They eventually will catch up later, but things are moving. You don't make no mistake. And obviously, the clean tech sector is moving forward. So the clean industrial deal, it's about securing Europe industrial future while at the same time meeting our climate goal. So that's what you would like to focus. So the clean industrial deal. So what you will see in this document when you come to analyze it, I'm hoping that you will get a chance to do it because, like I said, it's very important, right? In fact, the clean industrial deal. So some people call it the Green Deal, the Europe Green Deal 2.0, right? Because the Europe has actually issued a green energy deal that was, I think, when was it? Probably like 4 or 5 years ago. That's where they launched it. That was actually at the start of the mandate of Ursula von der Leyen, who's the president of the European Union. So now, obviously, this is the remake of this. So the let's say improvement of that initial Green New Deal that they had, right? So it's important to understand what is in this package because if you understand what is in this package, I said that can help understand how it obviously affects you. So what's in the deal? I want to break it down for you in 4 areas. You've seen that in the initial video that I shared with you, but let me just again re-explain that. The first thing that we have in the deal is affordable energy because energy costs, they are a huge burden for European industries. So the deal focuses on speeding up the rollout of clean energy, improving energy efficiency, and also reducing the dependence on imported fossil fuel. So affordable energy is clearly one of it, and you will see they have specific plans that to do it. The second thing, it's about boosting clean tech because the EU wants to improve the demand for clean EU-made products, by including sustainability and made in Europe criteria in public and also private procurement. So I guess in the near future, you're probably going to be seeing a lot more products that are actually so labeled made in Europe. And what that label is going to do is actually, that first of all come from Europe, but also you will know that this has been produced with a certain level, a high standard of sustainability. So meaning that obviously the carbon footprint for those for that will be relatively low, right? And for people that care about that, so that's something that they may want to be interested in. So that's what I'm saying. People obviously playing into the European market, pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening because this can be affecting you, right? And they're talking about rolling this plan fairly shortly, fairly quickly. Yeah. So now, how are they going to really properly put that into practice? We'll see. But clearly, that's the direction of travel. Like I say, once you understand the direction of travel, you as an industry will know how to position yourself. That's what I always say to people. So the Made in Europe is something that will be real. That will be obviously available very soon. And then the third piece is the circularity. Yeah. So the deal actually promotes recycling, reuse and sustainable production to reduce waste and make most of Europe limited resources. Yeah. And the fourth piece, which is a part that I particularly like, because sometimes in deal that when when we actually release big deal, we sometimes forget about that, is skills and job. Yes, because such a plan will obviously bring a lot of disruption, will disrupt a lot of places. And that means people potentially may be losing their job, but there needs to be opportunity and there will be opportunity for them to reskill and obviously tap into the new opportunity that have been created, right? So a green transition needs a skilled workforce. Yeah. And the deal includes plans to invest and in training, but also create quality job in clean tech and also other key sectors. So that is some of the things that we could say actually in this deal, right? Those are the different key elements that we see, those four key elements. So I've talked about, just to summarize, the affordable energy I talked about, the boosting clean tech, that's another aspect, circularity, and also skills and jobs. So this is something that you will see is actually being deployed so as part of the deal. Now, let me just give you some numbers that comes into this deal so that you could see what we're talking about here. So what is in this deal in terms of numbers, right? So we're talking about over 100 billion that will be mobilized to support clean manufacturing. So that may be a very good news for some, right? Because manufacturing, so it's so important. But very important as well. So what they say in here, manufacturing, they're not planning to compete in an area where they've already, let's say, lost the race. For example, solar panels and things like that, because the Chinese are far ahead, and to be honest, it's supplying everybody else. And to wake up tomorrow morning and to manufacture panels, at the same price than this guy do, it's very, very difficult, right? So they talking about focusing on, you know, uh, places where they have a competitive advantage and edge. Machinery and a specialized product, they particularly good in that, and maybe some aspect of the wind industry, for example, the supply chain, they still own it. This is what they're going to be investing a lot more money into that. They're talking about the goal of achieving 24% of material circularity, because I told you about the circular economy. That's something they believe is very important. So they want to do that by 2030. And they're thinking about up to 90 million to go into skills development to program like Erasmus. So why is it important to know things like that? So when you know that, yeah, so if you have a European, you know, child, you got to know that in Erasmus, they will have the opportunity to tap into this kind of training. So you may want to direct them right now so that they can actually get the chance to obviously benefit from that. So if you want maybe your child to get into the sector, or you want you to get into the sector, you're still relatively young, that's what I'm saying. This is what is happening. You can start positioning yourself so that obviously when the opportunity arrives, you're pretty much the first to grab it and to jump at it. So that is the reason why some of the thoughts of this thing are important. So these are actually big ambition, global ambition. But the EU isn't just thinking about themselves. They're also looking at the global picture here, yeah? Because the plans includes aspect of diversification in terms of supply chain, but also strengthen trade partnership. So they're thinking about simplifying the carbon border adjustment mechanism. Why? Because I think there's been a number of rumors saying that it's a little bit too stringent, too strict, a little bit unfair on European companies. So what they, and obviously because the plan was supposed to get into force for the carbon border adjustment mechanism. So coming to force in full force in 2026. So it's probably going to be delayed, probably going to be simplified, right? Why? Just because they want to rebalance things in line of what's happening at the moment in the world. So the carbon border adjustment mechanism, just to remind people, it's a mechanism which puts a fair price on carbon emissions from imported goods, right? So that's what it means. So that obviously they fight against carbon leakage, and there's sort of a rebalance level playing field. So I mean, if you're thinking about going somewhere else, and manufacture a product because you know that the standards for, I would say, carbon in those places are very low, and then you think about import, and you want to manufacture that at a very cheap price, and then bring it back into Europe. You won't be able to obviously keep that advantage for very long. Why? Because at the border in Europe, so you have to pay hefty price to rebalance and make it at the same level that European Union have had to go through, right? So that's what it is all about, just to make it plain and simple. But there's obviously a clear need for the plan to simplify this mechanism so that it doesn't impact too much European companies. So is it a good thing? We probably going to be taking some time in another, I would say, section to look at that much more carefully to understand exactly what's happening right there. But the whole idea is this is about making sure that Europe stays competitive while leading the way in climate action. So, but as you can imagine, there's always going to be challenges for a program like that, right? So, transitioning energy intensive industry, it won't be easy. It's important to say that. And there's always a risk for bureaucratic delays. And the EU is also notorious about that, right? But the EU here as well, they seem determined, to cut red tape and coordinate policies effectively. And I believe that the success of this deal will depend on how well it is implemented, like always, right? Because it's good to come out with a package, with a new regulations, a new program, but it's all about how do you put that into practice, and whether it can truly mobilize the funding and innovation needed. So we will see. So what does all of this mean? What does all of this mean? So let's look at that for a second. So the clean industrial deal for me is a bold step towards a greener but also more competitive Europe. Yeah. But it's about turning challenges that they see at the moment, global competition, climate change, into opportunities, right? Creating jobs, driving innovations, but also securing Europe's place in the global economy. That's what I see. That's how I perceive it. But it's also a reminder for me that the green transition and that you want to pay attention. It's not just about saving the planet. Yes, we want to save the planet. It's not just about that. But it's about building as well a stronger, more resilient economy for the future, taking advantage of the opportunity. That could be a lot of money for people that are actually concerned. You can make a lot of money while at the same time preserving the planet. Yeah. So, what do you think about the clean industrial deal? Do you believe that it can deliver on its promise? I'd like you to let me know, your thought in the comment below. And if you find that the video is helpful, so feel free to like, to share, subscribe for more insight. So on policies around the world on renewables energy and the green transition. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to leave me your comment. Yeah, take care, guys. Bye bye.